You again, back so soon, eh? Welcome to the Hogsty. Looky what I found. It's a little preview of the Lion-Skins exhibition this coming Sunday in Detroit. Sure, the presidential debate is live right now, but the Skins only play Detroit once this year, and there will always be more presidents. Priorities. Stick around for the episode coming up next, right here on the Hogsty Podcast Network. Patent forever pending.
Welcome to the Hogsty with your crew, Alex Zeese, Steve Thomas, and Robbie Duncan. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the sound of laughter at my inane intros. Welcome to the show. My name's Sean. Glad to be with you. We got Mr. Alex Zeese on deck.
Hey guys, good to be back. I want to show you what I got over the weekend for my birthday.
Uh-oh.
Sam Huff
Swag.
signed helmet.
All right. Swag.
Nice.
Yes, complete
Nice.
selection.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen at home, it's a sweet, what is that, 70s era?
Yeah, the spear helmet.
Spear helmet, it's
60s.
tight. It's tight, but they
Very
can't
nice.
see it, Alex. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Well,
Mr.
you
Robbie
guys
Duncan.
can. I don't care about the listener. You know that.
Well, you've got your priorities wrong,
We have
man.
to care about our listeners.
Yeah, we have to.
You care about the
I
listeners.
care.
Robbie
Myself.
cares, that's right. What's up, Robbie? How you doing, man?
Not much, man. Ready to review or preview this Lions game.
All right, let's do it. Steve, you ready to do this thing?
Yeah, I'm ready. But first of all, nobody ever told me I was supposed to patent or trademark anything. You're talking about patenting in the intro, and me being the resident attorney, I was supposed to be told these things. So,
Steve, it's
let me
been
know
a
next
year and a half. You're supposed to have a telepathic connection with me.
Well,
at
first of all,
times
it would
now.
be a trademark, not a patent. Number one, so
Oh,
we need to get our
God.
legal terms right.
Well, it would actually be a trademark if you really think about it in the legal jargon.
It is a trademark. You want to be
No, you're right.
accurate, right?
You're right.
Well,
Steve,
Can
keeping
we
us on our
patent
toes.
it
We
and
need
then
this.
patent troll it? Because I hear that's big right now.
No, there's nothing to patent. You have to have we don't. It's not a patent.
I'm gonna
Don't
patent the
spill all our
colors.
legal
And the other
secrets in
problem is,
goddamn episode. Let's.
I'm not licensed. I'm not licensed to do IP intellectual property work, so that would be a major problem. I'd have to go
Well,
get a
really-
IP attorney license, which I don't have.
It's a really good movie, by the way.
What?
Patent?
Pat. Yeah.
There's a movie
And,
called
and one
Patton.
of my favorite comedians. Patent.
Oh
Oswald?
man, he's good. He's good
Patton
stuff.
Oswalt.
Yeah.
I was thinking of
okay.
General
Yeah,
George
true.
Patton, but that's probably not who Alex is thinking of.
God,
No,
we are not even on the different pages right now. We're in different
We're on-
fucking books, people.
All four of us are in totally different,
Yeah.
totally different
Ladies and
conversations
gentlemen,
all at once.
when you tuned into this episode, did you expect this? I think not. But you got it anyway, and that's what we do here. All right, well, anyways, let's rein it in here, folks. I understand we had some development in the news era this past week, and I'm just going to kick us into it. What the hell is Stephen A. Smith's problem, guys?
So we're going to rein it into something far more intellectual and useful than Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, at least it's on topic, goddammit.
Well, let me tell you something right now about what Stephen Smith's problem is.
Oh, God.
You sound like a redneck trucker.
Yeah,
Sounded like a
why
pro
does
wrestler.
Stephen A. Smith sound like a redneck trucker? Have you ever wondered that?
I think it's just
He's
your
from
version
Philly,
of him that
and
sounds
he's
like
got
a red
like a weird
trucker.
Southern thing going on. I don't understand.
He's from New York, first of all. He's not from Philly. He's from New York.
Well, he lived in Philly for 24 years or something like that.
Look,
It's reported.
what's going on with Stephen A. Smith is that Stephen A. Smith saw the little video clip of Ricky Jean-Francois and Chris Baker walking back into the locker room after the Philly game,
Right.
and they said something to the effect of, "We own the NFC East," and this
Right.
just got Stephen A. Smith all offended, and the hairs on his arms stood
Riled
up,
up.
and he got all wrinkled. Yeah, and
Tizzy.
he went on and on and on about how the Redskins were losers and the fans were losers, and God help us if Baker and Francois get excited about it. And well, this stirred up a massive controversy amongst the Redskins fan base, and also with Rick Doc Walker and Brian Mitchell.
And let's
yeah.
not forget Chris Baker and Ricky John Francois and D'Angelo Hall on Twitter.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
most importantly.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I feel like he's looking for a story. The Redskins found themselves in his crosshairs. I can't believe he's actually annoyed at anything they tweeted, because that's the kind of shit that athletes tweet every fucking
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
There's no way he's actually offended by any of this. That's
Well,
that's
it
what I'm
was-
thinking.
it
He's
was
not
the
used to
most-
them coming back at him. athletes.
Well, I mean that's fair, but I mean he was so aggravated in his initial rant about the thing for no reason. You know, it's just like I don't know.
It was just he was reaching for another thing to rant about, to be Stephen A. Smith, to do his job. That's exactly what he did. He created a stir that brought all the attention to him.
Yeah, I mean it worked. If you think about it, yeah.
It definitely worked. You know,
Well,
it just,
I mean, Stephen A. Smith is paid to what we all wish we could have been paid to when we were on Twitter and on The Insider. He's a paid troll. It's what he is.
Yeah,
I
there
like
you go.
Steinberg's
I like that term.
description of him best. He called him ESPN's wind-up anger muppet, which I thought was just possibly the greatest thing that Steinberg has ever written.
By the way, that
That's
whole
smooth.
article he wrote about it was just brilliant on his part. Like, he's got little segues in the middle of the article bemoaning the fact that he's writing the article. It's just Steinberg
It was
really
great.
hits his prime at times.
It's very
It
meta.
was really great. But the thing is about the whole thing is that it's utterly a non-controversy, and Stephen A. actually had absolutely no point whatsoever. You know, all it was.
That's what I'm
was a
thinking,
plea
you know?
for attention. Yeah, it had no point. And if anybody out there caught his appearance on 980 with Brian Mitchell and Doc Walker and our friend Steven Jackson, he was on there and he went on and on and on. For the life of me, I could not understand what the heck he was talking about, honestly. And and B. Mitch shouted him back down, which I thought was hilarious. You know.
Yeah, and Jay Gruden had a lot to say about it too today. He was asked during his after practice press conference. He was asked about it, and he said this: "I know Steven does a good job with what he does, but he doesn't know our team. He doesn't know our coaches. He doesn't know how our fan base. He doesn't know our fan base, and for him to call us losers is out of line by him. We do take it personally. You have to if you call out like that." And then he even says, "It bothers me because he's calling my guys that. If he wants to call me that, that's fine. But when he starts talking about the players and the staff and the ownership and the people that have worked so hard in this building, it bothers you."
Yeah.
So basically that
call
was
Jay Gruden. Don't call Jay Gruden fat. Don't call this team a bunch of losers. Or Jay Gruden gets mad.
Well,
that
that's
was
almost
kinda
the
Jay
perfect
Gruden's
last
version
word.
of
I feel like.
That was kind of Jay Gruden's version of the Mike Gundy "I'm a man" speech.
Come at me. I'm
a
for
man.
it. I can take
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, I almost wish that he, like it's an awesome statement. I love it, but I almost wish he wouldn't just talk into it, because that's the problem. Is like people listening at home, just like don't feed into that, because that's what Stephen A. Smith's gunning for. He's gunning for your attention. It's like don't even give it to him. Just let it go away.
Ignore
That's what
the
I
ass
want.
Yeah.
clown. We used to have an old saying, "Ignore the ass clown," and that's what you really need to do with him. That's what the A stands for.
Yeah,
ass clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
the old. That was on old Ti, an old Ti
Yeah.
reference. The thing about Stephen A. is he actually has some good things to say sometimes. If you can get through the yelling, he has a lot of NBA contacts and a lot of basketball knowledge.
Oh yeah,
And he
his
has some
basketball
good
knowledge
things to
is
say
great.
about. Yeah, but you have to get through the nonsense to get to the good stuff, and that's what's most annoying. And now let me tell you something. This guy,
He's
Max
not top of
Kellerman-
my list for talking heads.
No,
by
me
any
neither.
means.
But I mean, Max Kellerman brings even
horse's
that show
ass.
down. He's just what an obnoxious jerk that guy is. Awful.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, and
Yeah, well,
I mean,
maybe that's what's going on here.
there's a larger issue where we need to talk about why does ESPN keep on doing these kind of shows where they're just trying to make news. You're a news organization. It's sports news. I know you're not dealing with politics or economics or anything important. It's sports.
No, they're going the way of MTV. In like 10 years, there's going to be no football on ESPN
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. And
It's going to be reality shows.
Yeah.
And this is step one of we're just going to be reality shows, and it's going to be Stephen A. Smith hosting ex-NBA players on an island.
Well, let's talk about
Which would
if you
kind
wanna
of be
talk about
cool.
It's really
Welcome
kind of
to
a
Stephen A.
demographics
Smith's
thing.
Survivor.
It's really
I
kind of
would
a
watch that shit,
demographics
man.
thing, right? If you
Yeah.
think about it, because I can personally attest to, I have never seen an episode of First Take in my entire life. I've seen some clips and stuff.
Well,
of the
because you work
important
for a
things to
living, and
say.
I think it's on in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So my point is, who they're going for are the kids. They're going for college kids, that have nothing to do but sit around their dorm room, and God bless them. I mean, they're in college. I'm not disparaging that, but that's their market. They're not looking to do highbrow intellectual stuff, even about sports. They're looking to do is it's entertainment more than it is informative.
And let's talk about
Yeah.
the other thing, and that is that their ratings have been dropping pretty steadily of late. I mean, they're in a financial. They are about to face a big financial crisis, and they're weathering the storm. But
They laid
I just
off like
don't really
hundreds
like
of people last year.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
if you-
I mean, I have friends of friends who work in that industry. So, I've heard about what's going on there. And it's not just ESPN. All the sports networks seem to be going that way.
Well, yeah, and if you look back at the you talking about how they make their own news, go back to when what's his name, Ron Jaworski made his stupid statement about Colin Kaepernick becoming the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
Right.
Wow,
I mean,
wow,
there was a story written about how ESPN operates. That statement was made so they could have shows and topics
Right.
and people discuss what Ron Jaworski said. It was news that they created themselves just to spin it and get more ratings, just like what Stephen A. Smith did.
I just miss the George Michael era where, and I mean the sports guy, not the musician. I miss guys who, hey, I'm going to show you some highlights. Bam, here's a highlight. Bam, here's a highlight. That to me was much more entertaining than,
Oh, I agree.
now.
Well, it's kind of
I
like
think George
Tony
Michael,
Kornheiser.
the musician, is actually more entertaining than any of those things.
Well,
Because you gotta have.
It's like they have a bunch of guys like this. Like Tony Kornheiser doesn't have anything useful to say whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
He's just there to make people mad at him. It's the
you
Howard
could
Stern
argue
effect.
PTI pioneered this. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, sure. It's the Howard
Nobody
Stern
has
effect.
anything
People tune
interesting to
in
say,
so
us
they can-
included, guys.
People tune in so they can hate him, because they get mad.
It's a hate
Now,
watch.
in the end, though, what Redskins Nation should be doing, like I said earlier on Twitter today, they really should be thanking him, so to speak, because while we all hate him for what he said and pretty much just take whatever he says with a grain of salt anyway, what he said, it just added more fuel to the fire to really kind of
prove him wrong kind of thing.
Yeah, prove him wrong. Us against the world, chip on your shoulder type mentality, and that's what he's given them.
Yeah.
If they didn't already have it, they have it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Chris Baker, D'Angelo Hall, both of them really took very offense to it. I mean, D'Angelo Hall said he'd come on and say something instead of them. He's like, they got to prepare for the game. I'll speak for him.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there you go. So that's Robbie finding the silver lining in it, and I think that's a good thing. Well, I'm officially
That's a good
giving
point.
Robbie
That's a very
the
good point.
final word on that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on then from Stephen A. Smith to the Supreme Court. Steve, do you have a quick update on what's going on with the Skins case?
Yeah, real quick. As we last left it, the United States Supreme Court decided to hear the case with the slants with regard to the trademark, the revocation of the trademark. They declined to hear the Redskins case because the Redskins case is sitting at the Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. What has happened today is that the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed to postpone the oral arguments in the Redskins case pending the outcome of the case involving the ban to slants. So what that means is it kicks the can down the road for a while because the Supreme Court opinion will be out mid to late next year, so sometime between June and October, roughly, of 2017, probably. That's when most opinions are released. So then after that opinion comes out, then they'll have oral arguments. And then another year after that will probably be the Court of Appeals opinion. So this kicks the can down the road and a whole
to buy
other
Redskins merch, basically.
There you
year.
go.
No, because then we have then you'll
Well, then
have
anyone
the
can
Supreme
make
Court
it.
appeal. Well, you'll have the Supreme Court appeal after that, so it'll be 3 years at least. And even then, there's still state trademark protections. We're only talking about federal registration here. So, but point is,
It's still going to be hard to use stuff. Sorry, my understanding is
it basically delays things another year. That's what happened.
Gotcha.
That's all they do, man. Is they kick that damn can down the road. They've been doing it forever.
You have to keep lawyers employed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's right.
Do it forever.
All right, well, if we are ready with that, then we can get to the damn preview. I know we had another story potentially. Do we want to get into that now, or should we save it for next week out?
Just go over it real quick. The Virginia pilot, they had a poll. It was supposed to be a state election poll, but they also asked about the Redskins Stadium. Some interesting numbers just to put them out there. Of Virginians, they polled 500 people. 46% said that yes, they would like the Redskins to move to Virginia. 21% said no. 34% are undecided if they would want to see the team move to Virginia. And this probably has to do with taxes because 68% oppose giving any kind of tax incentive to the Redskins to build a stadium in Virginia.
Right.
Only
Up in that
23% are okay with that. Because, shocker, people really don't want to pay more taxes than they have to in that state where they make you pay so many taxes.
I'm going to need to see some proof of that. That doesn't seem like it logically holds up, Alex.
Well,
Just kidding. It totally logically holds up. Now, that's interesting. I mean, nobody wants to pay for that shit. Not in my backyard.
yeah, NIMBY.
Well, I mean,
Well,
the fundamental
exactly.
argument is why should an organization worth, in the case of the Redskins, $2.5 billion at a minimum, take a massive state handout on the backs of the citizens? Why can't he go
Right.
develop his own property? I mean, and frankly, we're all Redskin fans here, but I totally agree with that. I think that would be zero
I think that's an
tax
argument
infusion
that
whatsoever.
it doesn't, it's a cross-party line thing. I mean, I know people on the left and right who are really opposed to that kind of, government spending. Both sides see it
Sure.
as wasteful. I don't think.
Sure.
I don't think you'll ever say, this is something Democrats do or Republicans do. This is just something, stupid governments do to waste money. It seems.
Yeah,
like.
and I mean, and that's the real thing is because studies show that that stadiums don't really bring any economic benefit to
especially not
where
football
they end up.
stadiums.
So
No,
exactly.
It
So
employs couple thousand beer vendors. Is really
Right.
all it does
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And if it's in the right area, it can revitalize a downtown. But if it's like way the heck out in Loudoun County, it's not going to revitalize anything. It's just going to develop
Right.
a big open piece of property.
Right, and that's why I said you got to look at football versus baseball and basketball because, like, we all saw what happened with Chinatown, the Verizon Center. That really helped revitalize that part of the city. So you can do
Yeah,
something
but there's
that's
still some
positive.
pretty crummy spots over there. I was there the other weekend for that
for your
tryout.
tryout.
And during the day, it still needs to be cleaned up a little bit. It was pretty
Bummy,
crazy.
bummy,
Yeah,
a lot of bums.
kind of.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like FedEx Field
Nicely
revitalized
put.
Landover.
No,
Landover
it
is kind
didn't.
of the same as it ever was.
Right.
Yeah.
And
People
good
even know who-
there's-
Would people even know Landover is on the map if it wasn't for Redskins, the FedEx Field?
no.
It would just
not
be
people
considered
who
part
aren't
of
from
PG
DC.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good
There's
people
nothing
there and
there.
everything, but it's the same economically depressed area it was before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Exactly.
really hasn't changed.
No.
Well, on that light note, then maybe we should get on to the damn preview for this Sunday's
All right.
game in Detroit.
yes.
Lovely, lovely Detroit, which isn't a depressing place at all. So why don't we start talking about the Redskins offense here? Kirk Cousins got his work cut out for him this week. If for context's sake, the Lions are 3-3. Started kind of bad, but I think they've been getting a little better recently. So
Well,
what do you
we've
think?
both beaten the Eagles, so there's
Well,
an indicator.
that's something. That's
Yeah.
something that happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it means.
They got a pretty decent defensive front. They got Ezekiel Ansah, who he kind of flies under the radar, but he's a really good pass rusher.
I thought he was hurt though. I could
Is
be
he
wrong.
hurt right now?
I
Yeah,
could be
he is
wrong.
hurt. No,
Or
no,
he
he is
well, he might have
hurt.
just
Yeah.
come back. He
He
might
has
have.
an
been hurt.
ankle. He has an ankle problem. He was limited in practice today, so I think you have to assume he's probably going to play.
He's probably going to play, and the thing, I'm not worried about him going against Trent, obviously.
Right.
But, if they decide to move him around a little bit, him against Morgan Moses is kind of scary to me because Morgan isn't so much better against these powerful DNs because he's not a powerful player. He doesn't play strong. He's more kind of rides people out. So if a guy like Ansah brings the fight to him and just can really cause some fits for Morgan Moses. So that's something I'm kind of looking out against.
Robbie, what if
If they can move him around?
what if Haloti Ngata was playing too? Because for you folks at home, rest assured he's still out. I believe, unless that's changed.
No, he's
Thank
still
the
out.
Lord.
Haloti Ngata's. I'll say this: if Brandon Sheriff can dominate Fletcher Cox the way he did,
Right.
he can handle Haloti Ngata. Haloti
Nice.
Ngata, maybe if he was a couple years younger, he'd be a problem. But at this point, he's an overweight, aged defensive tackle who's injury prone now, and he's just not as effective as he used to be. He's not the same guy that caused the injury to Robert Griffin.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
It's been a couple years since then, so things have changed since then.
That's an awesome call out. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Robbie a little bit on his view of the Detroit defense. I don't disagree with your analysis of what you see, but from a numbers perspective, this is a bad defense. They're 30th in yards per play. They're 26th in passing yards per attempt. They're 23rd in rushing yards, 27th in rushing yards per attempt, 23rd in points, 26th in total yards. There's absolutely nothing that this team only 13 sacks on the season, and that's probably their best stat, and that's mediocre for the NFL.
I am not defending the Lions
here's
at
the
all,
worst,
but
here's
they
the
have
worst
lost.
number.
They've lost Ashawn Robinson, Ezekiel Ansah was out for a few weeks, and Haloti Ngata. So I think they were decimated right on the front there.
Maybe so, but get this. 73.7% opponent completion percentage, which is good for last in the NFL by a pretty wide margin. I mean, this defense is not
Can't argue with that.
From a numbers perspective, this defense has not performed. And yes, they played Philly. They played Indianapolis, which ran the ball up on them. They played Green Bay. They haven't stopped many teams.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the teams they've played. I think it's the Titans, the Bears. They've played some very mediocre teams.
And the Bears went up and down the field on them.
Yeah, and those are the numbers that got put up. And I don't think people were saying the Bears were going to be a potential 0-16 team, weren't they?
Robbie said they were terrible.
They're not good.
No.
They're not good.
No.
They flash here and there, but they're not good.
Right.
They're struggling right now.
Every win they've had, by the way, the Lions have had, has been very close.
I mean, the Bears, sorry not to stay on them, but they're not good mostly because they have Brian Hoyer as their starting quarterback now after Jay Cutler. So anytime Brian Hoyer is your starter, you're doomed.
That is not a solution to a problem.
He had his career game, though, this year, I believe. I forget who it was against, but it was awesome for him.
Hoyer is the poor man's Kirk Cousins. He has these moments of brilliance, but he more so has these just boneheaded, just idiotic games, worse than Kirk Cousins. Like last year in the playoffs, how many did he throw? 6 picks or something?
Yeah,
like
it was
that?
some crazy number like
Jesus
that.
It was like every other
Or 6
pass,
turnovers.
Yeah.
To steer it back to Detroit, I want to bash them some more.
Yay!
Up until this
this
past game, our very own Redskins have been last in opponents' third down conversion rating, meaning the worst in the NFL, getting teams off the field. Well, congratulations, Detroit. You have taken up the mantle. Detroit Lions, you are now the worst team in the NFL in opponents' third down conversion rate, 32nd and last. So you've got a team that can't stop anybody from running up and down the field and can't get off the field. In a defense.
This is why the United States loves Detroit as a city, too. It's just everybody looks good in comparison. They take that last spot,
Yeah. And if you talk
Sorry
about
to any Detroit fans.
If you talk about what we've done, well, I mean, obviously everybody's seen us. We've won 4 games in a row now. We're all excited about that. But
We're starting to get hot.
Well, from a statistical perspective, we've graduated from a horrible running game to a pretty decent running game. We're ranked 11th in rushing yards now. Because we put up a lot of yards for a couple weeks in a row. Yeah.
So funny,
and our passing
Now,
game's kind of the same as it ever was. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question to Robbie about that? How much do you think Spencer Long being center is played into our running game?
Oh, a huge. He's made a huge impact there. I mean, you could see some of the clips I tweeted out earlier this week. He's really creating some big holes for guys. I highlighted one play in particular. Him and Sean Laval had a really beautiful combo block. Spencer Long just straight shoved the down guy way left for Sean Laval to take him over. Just like showed a lot of power there, and then he quickly adjusted and climbed to the linebacker, and boom, wide open hole in the A gap for I think it was Matt Jones to run through, and he's really doing some really great stuff. It's amazing. He probably should have been starting at center all year, to be honest.
Nice.
From what I'm seeing from him, he's clearly a very
he's the
quality
long-term
starter at center. I fully believe that.
Well, and it's not even a case of we're getting cheap yards off of bad teams in the fourth quarter or anything. I mean, we played the Ravens,
Philly's a good team.
the Ravens and Philly, and we ran the ball fairly well. For especially against Philly, against both of them. So
we didn't dominate versus the Ravens, but we got it done.
It got better. It got a little better, But
we grinded.
But we really ran well against Philly, and Philly's a good defense. And so, listen, I mean, if it's Spencer Long, if it's something else, I mean, we've improved tremendously. And against the Detroit Lions in particular, we really ought to be able to sustain a running game this week, for sure.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds like the prognosis is good. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to point out they do have a pretty decent playmaker at corner with Darius Slay. He's kind of also flown under the radar as a corner. He's very talented. He can lock guys down. He creates, he makes plays with the ball in the air. I mean, he got the game-winning interception against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. He's very underrated as a corner, and I wouldn't, I don't think there's a problem between Deshaun Jackson or Pierre going against him, but he's still someone you have to look out for, because if you don't, he'll kind of catch you by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, he may be the lone bright spot back there. The one final number, the Detroit is last in a bunch of good stats. Opponent quarterback rating is 119.3, which is last in the NFL. That means they've made every quarterback look like Peyton Manning.
Remember, do you guys remember, what was it, Hazlitt's second last year? He was giving guys like 120 rating every game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking forward to seeing.
That is the Lions for 2016. So in a lot of it, though, I will say this: a lot of the yards. Let's see. The Colts ran up passing yards on them, 368 yards. The Bears, believe it or not, ran up 294 yards. The Rams, 311 yards. But once you got past the Colts was the only disaster game when it came to massive yardage. The rest of them were a little bit more manageable,
I don't think it sounds like they're going to have any hope of stopping Pierre Garçon, Jamison Crowder. Excuse me. All the guys that we have, it sounds like they have one lone bright spot in their secondary, and they can't stop the run up front. Sounds like it's a pretty damn good offensive prognosis.
We ought to be able to move and score against this team.
Right. And now we don't know about Reed yet, right? We don't know if he's healthy.
No, the deal with Reed is that he goes to see the independent neurologist on Friday. Yeah, as does Sua Craven. So as we're recording this on Wednesday, we do not know, but we'll know by the weekend.
Right.
Thumbs up
now,
or thumbs down.
Well,
it's
looking good, though. Apparently, it's pretty encouraging, the fact that he's openly talking to the media now and not, kind of just in the background going through protocol.
Can I just say, though, I'm a little annoyed to hear that he apparently knew he had a concussion right away and was trying to hide it from the team.
That's bad.
It is bad, but it doesn't surprise me that a player would do that.
Yeah, I mean, Griffin did that. Everybody does that, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like,
true.
Someone's got to get a message to him that you can't do that anymore. That,
Well, particularly
probably good advice.
Of anybody, it would be him that ought to not do it, because he's already this is concussion number 6.
Right.
There's only so much you can do. Because eventually the player's gonna have to take care of himself, and if he chooses not to, then that's on him.
I mean, teams get fined now if guys have concussions and it doesn't get properly diagnosed. That's why I would worry more as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a fair concern.
Yeah, God help us if Dan Snyder has to pay a $10,000 fine.
Well,
the poor bastard.
No, yeah, I mean, the obvious answer is Jordan Reed needs to take care of his health, and we're all rooting for him to not, have something bad happen to him.
We don't want to see him messed up. Yeah.
No,
I think we're all on the same page about Jordan Reed.
Right.
All right. Well, let's flip over to the defense, guys, because I have a funny feeling when I look at the depth chart there for the Lions receivers. They've got pieces of every dead offense in the NFL.
That's a funny way to put it, but you're right.
It's so true, dude. I mean, they've got pieces from all kinds of defunct systems. So, Anquan Bolden's around, Marvin Jones is around, which is apparently their lone bright spot, I believe. And then I'm forgetting who's the other guy.
Tate.
Yeah, there you go. And that's Seattle's such a disaster.
Andre Roberts.
Roberts in Detroit? I didn't even know.
Yeah. He's doing well in kickoff.
He's been doing some good.
Yeah, kickoff returns.
I did not even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Holy shit, that's embarrassing.
Despite what you're saying, Matthew Stafford is having another Matthew Stafford year in most respects. Quarterback
does that
ratings.
mean impressive numbers, but he looks like an idiot?
No, listen, Matthew Stafford.
He's also been
underrated.
sacked 15 times this year.
Matthew Stafford has consistently put up incredible numbers year after year after year after year. This year is no exception. He's got 106 quarterback rating. He's thrown 14 touchdowns, which is twice as many as Kirk Cousins almost has. He's got 1,648 yards, which is only 8th. When I was looking at this offense, and I guess I need Robbie's input in this, they're a little bit of an enigma because they can move the ball, in the air quite a bit. They're very well. Marvin Jones, 29 receptions. Anquan Bolden, 29 receptions. Gold Tate's dangerous. Yet at the same time, they're only 11th in points. And so why is that? They're only 25th in passing attempts, 212. They're 18th in rushing attempts. They're terrible at rushing the ball. It's a passing
They're
game.
middle of the pack for total offense. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
Matt
because they have
Stafford's fantastic year for you.
Well, they have big passing numbers and they have tiny rushing numbers. But if they can move the ball like this, why aren't they scoring more points?
They're 13th in passing, I thought.
Well, but I'm talking about passing rate. They're doing it very efficiently. They have tons of touchdowns. Very efficient quarterback. And their third down conversion rate 46.5. That's third in the NFL. Means they're getting first downs. Their red zone efficiency is ranked 11th. So they seem to be a good offense in the air, but they're not scoring more points. I don't get it.
They do some things well. Yeah.
Well, how many interceptions has Matt Stafford thrown?
Matt Stafford has thrown 4 interceptions.
4?
Yes.
It's not terrible.
No.
It's not terrible, but he's taken a lot of sacks. Though. He's about over twice what Kirk's taken, I think.
Taken
Yeah,
15
I think
sacks.
Kirk's at like 8.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot. And it's surprising, too, because he's got actually pretty decent young offensive line. He's got Riley Reif at right tackle, who's decent. Taylor Decker, first-round pick from Ohio State. Then they got Laken Tomlinson from Duke the year before. I was a big fan of his in the draft. And then Larry Warford, who's been a solid right guard for the Lions the past couple of years as well. It's surprising to me that they're giving up that many sacks. I'd have to really kind of go back and see why they've been up that much. But on paper, to me, this is a very young and talented offensive line.
how do you think Kerrigan and Murphy stack up to them? Then would be the question.
I think Taylor Decker is the weak link on that on the edges at least.
He might be the weak loink too.
He's both. Yeah.
Shut up. So no, but what I'm saying is he got drafted. They put him at left tackle, but when I saw him on tape leading up to the draft, I was not that much of a fan of his at tackle. I don't think he's very. He doesn't have a lot of his feet aren't very fast. He doesn't have the quick technique you need at tackle. So I would think you could get some good pressure off of him with Preston Smith. He's an explosive pass rusher. He's not quick. He's not speedy like a Vic Beasley or Von Miller type. But Preston Smith is explosive. He's got a good get off. I think he could beat him off the snap and maybe create some pressure. But Riley Reif versus Kerrigan. I think it's going to be. I think Kerrigan does have the edge over him, but not by much.
I think.
Now,
sorry. I thought you were done, Robbie. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And then in the interior, they're pretty solid there. I don't think Laken Tomlinson's definitely a better pass blocker than he is run blocker. So I don't think they're going to be getting much pressure up front, at least.
I think part of the problem with the Lions is this is a really bad running team, and I think they're worse than their numbers reflect. And part of their original starting running back was Amir Abdullah, who did well, and then he got hurt. Theo Riddick was a starter for a while, and he's on the bench
still
now
hurt,
with was it ankle, I think. He's got ankle, and so really they're down to Zach Zenner, who honestly I know nothing about.
Undrafted.
Yeah,
he went undrafted.
Okay, and Zach had a decent game, but he's only averaging 3.3 yards per attempt. So I think part of the problem is you can't exist, as we proved in the first couple of weeks. You cannot exist on passing alone. Right. And that seems to be what the Lions are doing, which explains why they're getting a lot of yardage but not scoring quite as many points. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, and I'll let this go, if you look at the game, they ran up the score against the Colts in Week 1, against the Packers in Week 3, and then against the Rams last week with 31 points. So Tennessee held them to 15 points. The Bears held them to 14 points. The Eagles held them to 24 points. So they're just kind of a weird enigma, and I think it has to do with the fact that they just can't run the ball at all.
Yeah. Well, I think when you talk about their offense versus our defense, I feel very good about it because what's our strength? It's our defensive secondary. So
right.
Yep.
And the way they're playing right now, I think they match up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest person we have to worry about is Golden Tate. He's their most dangerous receiver on that team.
Yeah.
And because of that, Marvin Jones has been benefiting from the attention Golden Tate gets because Marvin Jones has been doing pretty well this year as well.
I think this is like his career year too. Yeah, he's never been this good.
I mean, I never count out Bolden. I mean, that guy always scares me.
And Bolden has 29 catches on the year. I mean, that's a lot.
So we're going to really have to rely on the front four to get pressure. Maybe the front seven if you bring a blitz. But, Trent Murphy and Preston Smith and Kerrigan, the three of them especially, are going to have to, have another big game like they did last week against the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we keep Stafford out off balance, keep him from having a big game yardage wise by keeping pressure on him, that's how to beat Detroit. Because I would be, even with a poor running defense like we have had up until at least the past week or two, I would be surprised if this Lions team puts up good rushing numbers on us. It just doesn't seem like they're that capable of it, given their injury history and they're down to an undrafted free agent as their starting running back.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, wait. Is Forsett starting for them, though? I forget. Because they picked up Forsett.
Well,
no, it's depending on Theo Riddick's health. I think he's the starter.
Yeah.
And then behind him,
It's Zenner.
on the depth chart, they got Dwayne Washington.
Right.
But Zenner is getting the carries, I think, right now. So I
He's
think
gotten a
it's
few,
Zenner's-
for sure.
Zenner's the guy who I think we're going to see most, would be my guess, just based on what they've. Yes, that's what their depth chart says, but I think Zenner is probably who we're going to see more.
Honestly.
Yeah.
All right, well, do we feel confident enough to roll with some prediction, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, who wants to do it? Somebody
I'll
volunteer.
I'll fall on the grenade first since you did it last time, Sean. I think we're going to have to outscore these guys to a certain extent, and I think we can. I think it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game just because Detroit's defense can't seem to stop anybody. Our offense has gotten rolling a little bit more, with the confidence coming out of Philadelphia. So I think probably we're going to score over 30 points for the first time. So I think it's going to be something along the lines of 31-21 Redskins.
Nice.
All right. That 31-21, I like that. That's a big win.
Alex, you want to go or you want me to go? It's up
I'll
to you.
go. I don't think we're quite going to do, 31 points. I think the thing that worries me about this team is crowd noise in a dome, but I'm pretty sure the coaches are practicing for that, silent
Hadn't even
counts
thought
and
about
stuff
that.
like that. Oh, I always worry about that kind of stuff.
Good call.
I'm going to go 28-14. I think this is
28-14?
not. It'll look better on the stat sheet. It won't be that dominating, but I think we pull away late and get 2 quick scores in the fourth or something like that.
Nice.
Sean?
Alrighty then. Well, I am, in terms of the Redskins score, I'm pretty much going to agree with Steve. I'm looking at a big scoring game. I just can't see how the Detroit secondary can keep up with Garcon, who's been playing well, Crowder, who's been playing well, Djax, who's still waiting for his big game, and Jordan Reed, who could potentially be coming back. Just doesn't seem like that's something they're going to be able to do. Plus, we've been doing pretty well on the ground. So I'm saying a high-scoring game, probably 31. Lions, I'm not going to say we're going to blow them out, but I don't think they're going to do very well. I'm going to say
Pregnant pause.
14.
14.
31-14?
31-14 Skins.
Wow,
Cool.
big game.
All right, I think we're going to come into this game with a with a man on a mission type mentality. I think the Stephen A. Smith thing kind of sparked them a little bit more. I mean, they were already riding the high horse and feeling good after the Eagles win. I think their momentum is just gaining on them more. I think they're going to be really fired up for this game. They're going to. I think they want to really show everyone in the country that they are, what they are. What their record shows: 4-2, dominating guys. I mean, their offense is flying under the radar. They're top 5 offense right now in total yards.
Yeah.
387.2 yards per game. That you can't, that's something you can't sneeze at because the Lions give up yards and the Redskins gain yards. I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game for the Redskins. I don't think the Lions will score as much as we think. I think we're going to create some. I think we're going to create some problems for Matt Stafford, like we did with Carson Wentz. I think Trent Murphy's going to have a good game. He'll probably get a lot of matchups against Taylor Decker, and I think he'll get a couple of pressures, maybe even a couple sacks. So I'm going to say a 35-17 win.
Damn, there you go. See, we're not all even that far off, frankly.
Now, one thing we didn't mention that we probably should have is that Deshaun Jackson's on the injury report this week. He didn't practice Wednesday. He does have a shoulder injury, so we'll see if he gets out there or not.
And
Yeah,
another
still
injury
too
thing
early.
too. Sua Cravens is looking to be okay for Sunday too.
Nice.
Good.
I saw reports on it today.
So his eyeballs work?
Yeah, he says he sees vividly, according to JP Finlay.
I mean, he needs to pass the neurologist test on Friday also.
Right. Yeah.
But all signs point to him playing.
That's good.
The way they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Well, shit. Yeah. Go ahead. You got something?
Did you guys see the Gruden quote about during his presser with the Detroit media today about he never heard Kirk Cousins curse and was trying to put curse words into playbooks? And
No,
hadn't seen that.
No.
it's pretty good. Go hunt it down. Apparently, Kirk doesn't curse, which doesn't surprise me.
He's a man after my own heart.
Yeah. So Gruden, to try and see if he could make him do it, called a play with a curse word in it.
Get out there and run the flat fuck route. God damn it.
Yeah.
I would play for that
saw
too.
That. I couldn't help but laugh.
No, that's genius.
Yeah, that's good. We did
31 son of a bitch on 3.
One of our listeners did tweet us and ask us whatever happened to our listener polls that we were doing every week. And just so everybody knows, we haven't forgotten about those, and we'll get back to them. But it's been a little busy trying to do the recaps and the previews and all that every week, so we kind of got away from it.
We can't think of good polls. That what?
It's a little tougher during the year because this poll might be the same every time, which is what do you think is going to happen in the game, and that gets boring. So
yeah,
we'll get back to it.
This is harder than it looks, folks, or sounds. I guess
we'll get back to the polls. It just at some point they'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, we will, last final announcement. We owe you a winner announcement for our Crazy Neighbor Story Poll. Here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to reach out to the winner via Twitter. We're going to get your info so we can send you your shirt. We'd love to maybe even get a picture of you in the shirt for the website or something. That would be sweet. But we will announce the winner on the next episode. So that's what we're going to do. Expect to hear back from us via Twitter this week in the next couple days. And we will see you guys on the next one.